to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Bach? Here. Councilmember Lund?
Here.
Councilmember West?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Marcarona?
Here.
Mayor Head?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, this is the time for public comment on items which are not coming up on our agenda tonight. Is there anybody that has turned in a speaker card or wants to speak at this time? Do you have any speaker cards, Trish? No speaker cards. Anybody? Yeah.
If it's on the agenda, does it get discussed public comment at that time?
Yes.
Okay. Do I still need to turn in speaker card for that time?
Yes. Okay, no public comment. Consent items. Did anybody want to approve these as is, or do we need to pull anything?
If no motion to pull, then I'll motion. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There was some conversation about item D and perhaps tabling that until we could do a little more research on it. There was a staff report, and I'd like to just table it so we can, I'd like to go back and find out a little bit more information and understand that question a little better, that's all.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody want to pull anything else? Then we need a motion to...
Move that we accept, with that exception, that we accept the consent agenda.
Except for item D.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember West?
Yes.
Councilmember Bach?
Yes.
Councilmember Lund?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Marcarona?
Aye.
Mayor Head?
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion is stated by the mayor passes unanimously.
Okay.
Lost my cover page.
Okay, presentations, informational items, and reports. Presentation on the Mission San Juan Bautista Preservation Fund. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hi, my name is Tammy Adam, and I'm the president of Mission San Juan Bautista Preservation Fund. I'm here tonight to enlighten and hopefully inspire you to become stakeholders in our mission to save the mission. We began early last summer when a group of concerned parishioners met to discuss the structural issues facing Mission San Juan Bautista. We started with formation, publicity, and fundraising committees, and in October of last year became a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We elected a board and officers and continue to develop outreach and fundraising strategies. This fund is actively seeking to raise significant funds, $14 million, to ensure the conservation and preservation of the architectural and structural integrity of the Mission Church and Convento at San Juan Bautista, as well as its art, artifacts, and its historical character. To give you some background, in 2011, after investigating multiple leaks in the Mission Church roof, it was highly recommended that because the roof system was in such disarray, multiple problems were uncovered, a new roof needed to be installed as soon as possible. And let's not forget the San Andreas Fault is literally just outside her doors. This is no small project, to be sure. The leaks were temporarily repaired, and the Finance Council of the parish requested Architectural Resources Group, one of the top architectural companies that actually specialize in historic buildings and their restoration, to produce a historic structure report in 2013. As a result of that report in 2014, the Finance Council authorized a structural strengthening design, including the stabilization of adobe walls, along with a rough budget of the potential costs of this restoration. Brian Kelly, a retired businessman and construction consultant, has made it his calling to help repair, revitalize, and protect many of our California missions. Luckily, he has become a stakeholder in our mission, and he was able to tap on his resources to produce a budget for our mission. We stand today looking to raise $14 million. To date, we've raised a little over $320,000 in donations, pledges, and matching grants, including our first matching grant of $500,000. So if you're wondering how you can help, of course, donations are always welcome. But getting the word out about the plight of the mission and what our community stands to lose if nothing is done is paramount to hopefully finding those philanthropic individuals and or companies that will become stakeholders in our mission to save the mission. We have a beautiful website, www.savemissionSJB.org, with more details on what the issues are and what you can do to help. If you utilize Facebook, please like the San Juan Bautista Preservation Fund page and have your friends and family like the page as well, as it's vital to maintain a presence online to spread the word. We have also joined the Community Foundation of San Benito County and are hoping to get exposure there, as well as becoming a sponsor on Bonita Link. We also just signed up with Eating with the Season, a CSA or community-supported agriculture, in which we will put our flyers in thousands of fresh veggie bags delivered all over San Benito, Santa Clara, and San Francisco counties. If you shop on Amazon, you can sign up for Amazon Smile, where you can designate our fund to receive a percentage of sales every time you shop. I think it's about 0.5%. We also have a GoFundMe.com page, and people can donate there as well. I have a handout with further information if you'd like to take a look at that. I want to end by reading to you one stakeholder's reason for saving Mission San Juan Bautista. I think it truly sums up the fund's inspiration, and I keep it with me always. Mission San Juan Bautista is more than just a mission, church, or building. It is the heart and soul of one of the last small agricultural towns in California. It's a living tribute to all the families and people who have come before us and will come after us. It's a place of endearment for so many couples married here or had their children baptized in her waters. And for the countless visitors and young students who have come and walked in her hallways, wondered at her art, and played in her plaza. Mission San Juan Bautista Preservation Fund is dedicated to raising the funds necessary to protect the legacy of this very special piece of California history, so that the visitors and the greater community can experience this historic treasure in its inspiring serenity for years to come. I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen, but perhaps more importantly, I want to thank you in advance for becoming stakeholders in our mission to save the mission. I'm happy to take any questions or comments that you might have, and thank you again.
Questions?
If we don't get the 14 mil, $14 million for that roof?
No.
No.
Oh, for everything?
For everything.
Yeah.
What's the diocese putting
I
into
have a
it?
question. Does the scope of the project, is the scope of the project limited only to the retrofit, stabilization and re-roofing, or does it go beyond that to perhaps improve the visitor experience?
It is just for the scope of work,
Okay.
although the Preservation Fund would like to keep going and,
Good.
and be able to do that as well.
I ask after having moved here and then with my wife touring all of the missions and seeing the the range of quality in the museums,
Yeah.
as well as the range of prices that are being charged at some of those museums, and the amount of funds that are generated. There's a couple of them that do quite well and are pretty much very self-sustaining, which is encouraging. But
One of the interesting things that, because I moved here 6 years ago, and when I found out that there's almost, I think, over 40,000 fourth graders that come here every year, and I had understood that it was $20 for admittance into the mission, and I said, well, can't we up that and maybe get this thing started? And they said, no, it's $20 a bus.
Right.
It's not $20 a person. And we're looking into state funding, but that's difficult because it's actually a property of the Diocese of Monterey. Even though it's a historical monument, it's still difficult, but we're working on it.
great. Well, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy. Next item would be report by Community Food Bank. Susan Thompson.
Hi, how are you this evening? I'm Susan Thompson, and I'm here representing the Board of Directors. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Now we know who we are.
Well, yeah, we traded emails.
And I brought with me tonight Mark Paxton, who's joined our team as our Community Engagement Director. And I'm going to have him make the presentation because he's got all the facts and figures. But what we're doing here in San Juan Bautista has been tremendously well received, and we want to share with you some of the good news about that. And I have a little something I want to give to you while Mark is making his presentation.
Hi, and thanks for the opportunity. It wasn't that long ago that we expanded our operations into San Juan Bautista. We've been around for 27 years. In the first year we were in operation, we shared groceries with 36 families. In March of this year, we shared groceries with 5,234 people in San Benito County. San Juan Bautista is a place where we wanted to get a long time ago. Capacity is just giving us that opportunity.
It's good.
And I'd like to thank the city of San Juan Bautista, all of you, for the support you've shown us. As you know, we're operating every Thursday out of the back of Plaza Market, and we're feeding 251 families each month with over 500 bags of groceries. Because people have responded so well here, so you're reaching about 1 in 6 people in San Juan Bautista. We opened a little thrift shop, and we have a bargain market as well. We know we're not really addressing all the need that's in San Juan Bautista and environs, and toward that end, we're looking for a bigger, more visible spot, and that's been very encouraging. People have responded very favorably. I'm going to share a short story about one of the customers here. One of the questions that I'm most challenged by, and one of the ones I hear most often, is who's your typical customer? We don't have clients, we have customers. And that really defies an answer. There really isn't a typical customer. About 54% of the people that we see each week in San Juan Bautista are either seniors or children. But one of the people who I met when I was over here 1 week was a woman who came in every week. And she obviously knew a lot about produce and nutrition. And one of the things you'll see if you drop by Plaza Market is that a lot of our market bags are filled with local organic produce, thanks to the partnership we've got with a lot of local growers. And this woman had to walk away from her career to care for her husband, who was waging his own battle with prostate cancer. And that's a typical customer. That's somebody who comes to the food bank. She had a good career and one that she enjoyed, but she stepped away and she took pains to educate herself about nutrition. Her husband beat the best case scenarios that the doctors presented by a long shot, thanks to her care and nursing. And he did eventually lose his battle earlier this year. But one of the things that's most encouraging, and it happens in San Juan Bautista, I was talking with Lourdes Cordova, who staffs the store each Thursday, is it's really rewarding to see people come in for groceries and then to cycle out as their lives get better. And we're really about something a lot bigger than a bag of groceries each week. We're a mechanism for opportunity and for hope, and that you've recognized this is something we celebrate every day. And thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to say one last thing on behalf of the board. We truly, truly appreciate your help last year. It did help us pay the rent, and it helped us to increase our presence here in this community, and we're here to stay now. So thank you again, and we wish you all the best next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, monthly financial statements and treasurer's report. Chuck's not here?
No, Chuck's not here. As the treasury report put out, is our general fund is it has a positive
result, which is always good. And that's primarily contributed to the fact is that we've restricted a lot of our capital asset purchases until the very last portion of the year, which comes in May and June. And as well as the enterprise, even though there was a small loss of $20,000 in the enterprise from lower water revenues and water conservation, what we did was we kicked the can down the road to defer a lot of the capital improvements until the last quarter. So that has resulted in the more positive cash flow. By and large, our net cash flow is well up about $400,000 that we received from the refinancing of our bond debt and stuff like that. And the overall cash flow is higher than anticipated in the general fund of about $97,000. But our expenditures are lower by about $158,000. By and large, it's still positive. And our general fund balance was a positive of $295. And so overall, I think we're doing okay in the fact that in our enterprise, the revenues from the water are down from last year and everything. But we've cut back on our acquisition and a lot of contractual obligations and kind of balance those needs out, because we don't want to have to get into raising rates just to support a water conservation program.
I had a question, Roger. The first payment on the new loan is $575 due in October. What was the interest-only payment in March for 116?
116, that was the initial, while we were going through the financing program and to pay off the old bonds that we had to retire, we had to come up with $116,000.
So that's a one-time payment?
One-time payment,
okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Now, normally, the 575, normally the old COP rate was
779.
774 to 779. So there's a substantial savings here.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay,
going
great.
to be with us for the next 29 years as a positive.
I'll be here.
I won't.
Come on.
Any questions? No. Okay, I had a couple on checks.
Yeah, I did too.
San Andreas Drywall, 244008.
That was the
Repair to the roof?
The repair from the roof in the water department.
Is that-
In the fire department, yes.
Is that Albert Bias's company? Is that
Yes.
what he calls it? Okay. All right. And then Wendy got checks on 5/3 and 5/20. Isn't that unusual, or was that due to audits, or?
No, that was a result of, we lost Michelle out in front, and we had to pull Wendy in to retrain Carmen as well as Connie, and there was a little bit of extra time in there, the transition where getting the computer oriented and the water bills out on time.
I noticed the bill's got a new look to it. Is that a new program?
Not quite yet, but it's a little bit more.
This last printing had a big dark invoice number on the top, I thought.
Yeah.
Was there any other difference?
I didn't notice that, but I noticed the font was different and the lines and everything. It looked like a different program, or maybe
Sometimes
just
it's
different
hit and
font.
miss right now.
Yeah. Okay. And then the ACWA health benefits, 84, isn't that usually 4,000
I
something?
think that's because as Michelle's moving out, they charge us for her,
Exit.
even though she's not there, and then we subtract it, and then we put Carmen on board, and it's just kind of a transitional thing, but yes, it settles down to about 4,600.
Okay.
Normally that runs us about $4,500 per month.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. Okay.
What's Avaya? Avaya? That's our
phone.
telephone operator, yeah. Okay, and then...
And I had one more.
These-
The San Benito County Sheriff for 130,
Yeah,
410.
that's our annual That's our payment to
one-timer.
them. They audited it, and we got the $100,000, and we waited till we got the COP funds before we paid it.
I thought we were paying
Roger, your microphone.
periodic,
So the net
Payment.
result is $30,000 that we had to pay out of our general fund. But the COP funds, we waited and waited until we got that.
okay, but
I thought we were doing
weren't
quarterly?
we getting billed as,
No.
No, on the contract with the city of Hollister, that's a monthly or quarterly
that's on
bill.
the
on
fire
that.
department?
Yeah, the fire
Yeah.
department. But on the cops, it's an annual payment.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then
I'm open.
Valero Marketing and Supply? Valero Marketing and Supply?
Yeah, that's the gas station.
Oh, that's what they call it, other than
Yeah.
Valero
yeah.
Fuel.
That's gas for the public works.
I have to ask, what's Black Sheep Redemption? There's no
I didn't
money.
see it.
But it's
Black Sheep Redemption.
We were using the, they were located there on the corner, and I thought Ted Leone's has that building
Oh,
last year.
yeah.
The honeymoon cottage, I think it's a refund on their water bill,
Oh, okay.
or their
Is there-
deposit.
$0?
No, I thought
Zero?
I
Yep.
thought it referred to me.
It said $0.00.
Okay. I'll have to look into that.
Any other questions?
Right, required.
The total refund we counted up was about over $5,000, just of people moving out and getting back their refund, as well as you'll see a couple of bills in there that are environmental bills that we get reimbursed from the developer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I picked those out, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen the names. Okay, if that's it, we'll move on to the sheriff's report. Did we ever get anything?
No.
No? Okay.
I'm sorry, I had one more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Maureen Kane and Associates.
Oh, that is the landscape architect for the development, and that's reimbursable.
And we also,
No, that's a
That's the,
training that the city clerk is at,
oh, is that the training?
yes.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the landscape architect.
It was a
Kane.
Kane.
Anita Kane, yeah.
in the Mercury News, what do we,
It's for the library.
oh, it's for letter? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's kind of quite a ways away.
Okay, let's move to the fire chief's report. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Put this right here. So as of today, the Hollister Fire Department responded to 68 calls for service in District 4, this area here. The breakdown, as you can see, has one fire. We had a fire a couple of days ago at Bixby Road, or that was yesterday.
No, that was
These
day before yesterday.
Was it day before yesterday?
No, it was Monday morning, huh?
I think it was.
Monday morning.
Yeah, Monday morning. Okay, days are running together. Vehicle accidents, we had a total of 5. So I'll correct that to say 7 because I just saw 2 of them pop up right now, just down the road. And 25 EMS and 37 miscellaneous calls, which consists of pickup and putbacks, alarms, gas leaks, hazards, etc. If you look at the apparatus report, we have engine 14 in service, 24 has some charging problems, but it's still running. Water tender 52 is out of service. It has had some issues with it, but in the last week, it was deployed down south for support to a CAL FIRE incident, and the air brakes went out. So as soon as the air brakes went out, we sent it back home. They sent it back home. It had enough pressure in it to get it back home, and once we got it, we had to send it out for service because you can't run a vehicle like that without air brakes. It has to have its compressor.
So, you can't move it.
You can't move it.
Can't stop it.
Can't move it. You can't start it.
There's-
So we're out a water tender and a wildland
Yes,
rig?
Yes, exactly. And both of them right now are in service, or
Out of,
are out for service. Exactly. This is where we're at right now. So yesterday-
did the county approve for the wildland rig to get repaired?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They sure did, without hesitation. I had a talk with the CAO, and as a matter of fact, through that discussion and by your guys' support from the Fire Advisory Committee, we are putting some funds in the fire budget from San Benito County, and that's going to help out immensely. Also, I'm going to have discussion with them for additional equipment, which is very welcomed, considering the fact that the city of Hollister is going to be purchasing 2 Type 1 engines, which are like the engine that we have here, engine 14, for structures, and we're talking about doing a couple of patrol rigs, and the county is going to participate as a partner to buy some of the equipment for it, like nozzles, hoses, some of the tools to do the work. It's going to be a welcomed endeavor between the jurisdictions for us to do this and for us to provide service for you guys, or for everybody here. As you can see where I have the Type 1 City of Hollister moving forward with the purchase of 2 vehicles. Yesterday, it was yesterday. These days have been running together. Yesterday it was approved by council. So right now it's all about sending it out for bid and moving down that path with it. I have my recommendation for Rescue 64 as a council member Martirona had suggested last council meeting when I did the last chief's report, and I sent the information to the city manager and yourself with the recommendation from the previous chief on a conversion for Rescue 65 to turn it into a Patrol 64, and I can further discuss that when we have availability. If you take a look at the water tender, this is the water tender that FEMA had purchased for us with our 10% contribution, and the hose, nozzle, and appliance for this vehicle is going to be funded hopefully by the county, if I can be as persuasive as I can be tomorrow in the discussion that we're going to have with the budget hearing. As you can see, it's on target. We're going to get it in service as of August 10th, and it should be up and running by August 11th. We're going to have it here within the next 3 or 4 weeks. And part of the agreement with FEMA is once we have it on ground, it's supposed to be trained up on from everybody in the department, myself included, and running calls within the week. So that's the agreement, and we are going to abide by that. These guys are anxious and they're chomping at the bit to get it rolling. Strength management, you have presently 2 chief officers, 3 battalion coverages, 11 fire captains, 9 engineers, 17 firefighters, and 9 reserve. The number of the reserve is going up as far as qualifications are concerned. Already I've received 2 certifications of EMTs and 1 of firefighter 1. So as opposed to having 5 that I reported last month that were fully certified to run calls, I got a total of 7. So that's a real plus for us. Recruiting efforts are ongoing, and we're awaiting notification from the SAFER award. So, to put it plain, everybody puts out an application to FEMA to see if they can get the funding for the SAFER grant for staffing. Very few people get a request for agreement from city government stating, if we give you this grant, do you promise not to lay anybody off? So they asked us for that. It was signed by the mayor and the city manager and sent to them. And I automatically got a response from the grant coordinator in FEMA saying thank you very much. So it looks very good right now for us to keep the 12. Under career development, I'm going to be holding a promotional exam for battalion chief in August. I've got fire captain promotional exams in September, and we're continuing driver operator training. Irregardless if they get the certificate or not, it's a perishable skill to drive, especially a piece of equipment like that. So we have ongoing training for our drivers, our captains, our firefighters, because if you go on a strike team, everybody's going to drive. And it'll be a 12-hour drive up north or down south, and everybody has to take a shift driving. So that's a continuous thing. The Reserve Fire Academy is going to have its orientation in July after the rally, and commencement of the actual Fire Academy in August. We just received 15 sets of turnouts, which allows us to put these folks to work. We've got the academy already assembled. They're waiting for us to give them their expectations through the orientation, and then we commence the fire academy. And as you can see here, I've got the fire marshal's report, and all it discussed mainly is some of the inspections that he's done. He's already completed the hydrant layout approval for Del Webb and San Juan Oaks, and I have a public safety announcement, fifth one down, from the three entities in Hollister and San Benito County, to include Sheriff's Office, the Police Department, the Fire Department, and probation. So a total of 4 about illegal fireworks and illegal discharge of weapons. So there's a video on YouTube, and there's a video through Nixtal, and also My PD app that you can download. In the event that you see some illegal activity and you want to make a report from it, you can go ahead and shoot that information from where you're standing. It'll give you a GPS. Send it to one of us, my code enforcement officers, my fire marshal, myself, and my battalion chiefs, and they can go and address the issue. We like this method because of the fact that it doesn't use a public safety frequency, and if you have a scanner, you hear everything. Okay, so this allows them not to hear everything. So if they're doing it, and frankly, what mostly used to happen when I used to be on firework patrol 10, 15 years ago, we'd hear about something, the neighbor would call in, 911 would dispatch us through the radio without tones, and we would go, and all we would see was discarded illegal fireworks on the ground. You know, so somebody had a scanner. You can tell somebody had a scanner. Well, this method, they won't be able to tell. What we're going to do is, as soon as we come up on somebody with something, we will in fact confiscate it. We'll give them some instruction on why it is illegal, especially with imposing a $2,000 to $5,000 fine, and tell them, you know, let's not do this again. If it happens again, then we will impose that fine. We will levy that fine. And it's just a matter of information out there, and that's what we're trying to do first and foremost. We want everybody to celebrate, you know, Independence Day. It's our right. You know, 32 years in the military, I love the fact that we celebrate it. But when you take advantage and now you're putting people's safety at risk, that's something we got to address. Okay. That's the fire marshal's report, and oh yeah, future operations. Okay, so we have an emergency reporting system that has what's called a heat map in it. And I know it's small, but given the opportunity, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of this database so you can see how many calls are coming into your jurisdiction on a monthly basis or even an annual basis if you want to see it. And there's a table to the right in the upper right hand corner that tells you what the different icons are. You have a fire icon, you have an EMS emergency medical service icon, and you have a miscellaneous icon. You're going to be able to see what we see when it comes to the frequency and trends of calls. So when I pulled this up in the county, I noticed that after May 18th, the vehicle accidents on Spring Grove and Fairview dropped drastically. So being an elementary school there, it caused, not that the school caused the accident, but because of the influx of traffic, you can see the density. You can almost predict when this is going to happen and what's going to happen. So this is a real good indicator, and I apologize that it's small, but I was excited about, you know, printing it out and sending it to you guys, knowing that it might not be too legible, but what I will do is I will send you a screenshot from my computer through your email so you can see a bigger picture of it. And I'll put a few dates there. Instead of 1 month, you'll actually see what we've done from June 1st of 2015 to June 1st of 2016. This way you get a better grasp of what's going on in your jurisdiction. And that concludes my chief's report, pending your questions.
Clean green. Clean green?
Clean green, yes.
Is that the outfit at Four Corners there?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And
I
that
can
is
understand
supposed.
how that got like it is already.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a wood chipping organization, and if you have green waste with wood chipping material, it will decompose and you will get spontaneous combustion. Last Friday, when my engine company rolled out there, they had 3-foot flames on a pile, and there was no external ignition source, so there was no match to catch it on fire. It was just the chemical breakdown of itself. So we're on it. EPA's on it. OSHA's on it, and it's being addressed. As a matter of fact, Chief Alvarez was there this morning at 7:30 doing an inspection on it. And part of our requirement was for them to post a fire watch. And my request was I need at least 2 people out here with I think it was a 50,000 gallon tank that they had 24/7. If not, I was going to post an engine there, and my engine is about $700 an hour with the 3.0 stacking. So they elected to get 2 of their employees. You got to do what you got to do. You know?
Those piles are the worst to put out too.
You guys ever seen that?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. We used to go out to the one out by the county line,
Right.
and all you can do is just spread it evenly as far out as you can and
You gotta
water
have
it
the
down.
space. You
Yeah.
gotta- and he doesn't have the space. He's got several acres out there, and that's not enough to spread
No.
it out and let it air. And from what our environmental officer was telling us, if you hit it with water, you aggravate it, and now you're feeding it. So it's almost like a magnesium fire, where it provides more oxygen and more decomposition, so it'll flare up. Very delicate. Very delicate.
If you can separate it from what hasn't burned, that's a start. But well, it started off as a little thing, and then all of a sudden it became 12 feet tall and hitting all 4 sides of the fence.
Yeah, my personal opinion is I think business got good and the supply and demand got unbalanced. So I think that's what happened. I'm a fireman. That's all I know. But I'm just standing from this point of view. That's what I kind of think happened. You're welcome. Yes.
Chief, I'm sorry. The Reserve Academy,
Yes,
how many do you have waiting for that? Or
we've got a
15.
total of 15 right now waiting.
and those are in addition to the 9,
Yes.
or are those okay?
Yes, those are addition to
Great.
the 9. And,
Okay.
and those 9, in order for them to maintain their certification, they know that they have to be there and help instruct also, so they can make their mandatory 10 hours a month.
Good. And that we've discussed it. The reserves. I mean, I think that is critically important to
Well,
the safety
absolutely.
of this community,
Absolutely.
and I think it's as high a priority as anything else here.
Yes. So for the ISO organization to give us a low rating, so the business owners and even the homeowners can have to pay lower premiums, you've got to have, you've got numbers from 10 to 1. Monterey City, the whole city is at a 1 right now, so everybody there is enjoying having to pay a low premium for insurance. So for every 5 reserve or 5 volunteers you have in your jurisdiction, that equates to 1 firefighter. So they recognize that, I recognize that, and I want to get as much as I can, not only for my own selfish need to put them to work and keep developing firefighters on the street, but it does the business owners and the homeowners a lot of good too.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chief. Okay, library report, any questions on that? We got it in our packet. Go to administrative report, Roger?
Well, Public Works, we've done a little valve exercise in the water system, and we've had a few mishaps there, and we had to replace some valves at Pope and the 5th because the valves just sheared right off. We're addressing those, and we're getting into an aggressive valve exercising program throughout the town. And that's important for the fire department because we have to be able to shut these fire hydrants as well as the mains down at certain points. Street painting, we've got the crew going around and painting curbs, crosswalks, and striping. And in the planning department, we're busy with processing a few of the subdivision improvement plans, and we're going to be finishing those up. I know the Rancho Vista has been raising heck with our street out there on the San Juan Highway and everything, but Bob's well aware of that he'll have to be reconstructing that when we get into the construction portion of it. And as well as we were talking today about the roundabout, which would be installed at that intersection. Stuff.
So it's going to be an all-new intersection now?
Yeah, yeah. And then our budget here and department, we're finishing up the budget. And then, as you all know, the water well is one of the higher priorities because we're under the compliance order. And then the next priority is to initiate and then get the water treatment pellet plant going. And I met with Kate Simonis from the Regional Water Quality Control Board this morning, and she kind of lined us out on some of the details that we have to get to them, because it all revolves around trying to eliminate that $3,000 a month fine that we're incurring as a discharge into the San Juan Creek. So everything is moving along good.
What's your sense of the timing for the pellet plant and the well, the first well?
Yeah.
She asked me about that today, and I showed her our budget. Now we got it programmed in and how we finance our debt service, and we ended up with an additional $400,000 to do it, and she was delighted about that. She wants me to submit a time frame on that, and I told her that I'd have it by mid-August to her and stuff like that, with some milestones and stuff like that. And we'll probably be initiating some of the construction as early as September. For the undergrounding and the plumbing and the basic needs in the foundation pad.
Okay. So what's your sense of it for taking that system online? I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire. Just, I mean,
64,000. I've deleted the building itself, and we can always put a building on it later on and everything, because that was a costly item. So we're going to get the slab down and then reposition all of the hardware there. Then we have to call Procore back in Wisconsin and bring them out, and then they will plumb it, and then they'll do the startup for us and stuff. Okay. And I'm going to say probably, conservatively, probably April of 17.
Okay. Thank you.
Did you hear back from Valencia or Procore as far as the schematic?
Oh yeah, I've talked with Valencia 2 or 3 times, and then I've talked with Procore 3 or 4 times to try to get a more accurate cost of what it's going to cost us to bring their team out. And I made the proposal that I will fly them back out from Wisconsin here, and we would house them at the motel for 2 weeks while they can put the plant together and then upstart it and then train our operators.
What I meant was that you remember Valencia was a much smaller package than what...
Oh yeah, and we've tailored ours very similar to the Valencia schematics and stuff like that, so that we don't have to create a big building.
Right. I think we might be able to get a pole barn over it and then maybe add some sides.
I would say a pole barn would probably be not the best thing and everything. And you can get a steel building at a pretty attractive price if it's just the shell itself.
See, Valencia's is out in the open.
Out in the open, yeah.
Of course, it doesn't rain as much down there.
And that must mean it doesn't rain at all.
Well.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move to public meetings reports. Chris, you want to start off?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
It's been with Richard's passing, I missed the intergovernmental, and the budget meetings kept me from the other one. I've drawn a blank. AMBAG.
Okay. Tony?
COG. Major item of discussion was Measure P and why it failed. And I told them, from the get-go, fix the potholes, fix the streets, no buses, no bike lanes, no Highway 25, but hey, they made a decision and unfortunately it failed. So I don't know if we're going to try it again or not, possibly, but they're talking about trying to do it again in November, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Kind of soon.
It was kind of a poor marketing.
And, I think I told you before, when we questioned when 156 was going to start, apparently now the start date is 2020. But they still don't know where the money is.
They're hoping that they'll find it in that can down the road in 2020.
San Bernardino County put $10 million into STIP money, which is State Transportation Improvement money. We committed it. And all this time I thought it was sitting in a bank somewhere. You know, well, that's not the way it works. You know, when you need it, then they'll give it back to you. The state doesn't have the money for their share at this time.
Why don't they put 2 more lanes in there for a stopgap measure? 2 each direction.
I don't know how many times that was suggested, Rick. It's the same as 25. Instead of building this grandiose freeway, just add 2 lanes. 25, they could do the same way. But
You could.
apparently Caltrans doesn't like that idea.
Yeah.
So,
In spite of the fact that I-80 is exactly like that going into Reno. But
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my report.
All right, thank you. Let's see, we had a LAFCO meeting. Something we wanted to come up didn't come up, so it's going to be at the next LAFCO meeting, which is going to be 2 weeks before normally held. It'll be on the 2nd Thursday instead of the 4th.
July 14th.
And that's the annexation on San Juan Hollister Road. So that was it, and we hired a new executive officer. Robert, any meetings?
So intergovernment was canceled due to we didn't have a quorum. And pretty much what the fire chief went over for the fire protection meeting was pretty much everything that was covered. And that was it.
Okay.
Monterey Bay, I didn't make this trip.
Jim?
Fire chief covered most of that, and then if you go to 6D, that's for the water district, that's all there.
Okay.
If I tell you, it'll just be repeating it, and you don't want to hear it twice.
No. Thank you. Okay. Eric, did you have a meeting, report for your meeting?
Yeah, we did have a meeting. We had a meeting last two Thursdays ago, the 9th, I believe it was the 9th. Our meeting's attendance is getting smaller and smaller. I think we also this month had a lot of graduations and end of school year parties. But I do continue to get several emails a month asking general questions or reporting things that I've been either letting them know to call the sheriff's department or whomever they need to call. A couple of things that we, Neighborhood Watch or our members have been working on is that we've been working with the sheriff's department for some possible drug activity in town and them trying to narrow that down a little bit. They are looking into it, so, and I hit them up about once a week on that. I got an email from a resident that there was an assault at Veruti Park last week, I think it was, and that is an active investigation to my knowledge, last I heard, with the sheriff's department trying to determine whether charges are going to be filed. I'll remind everybody again, if there's any suspicious activity, to call 911. Some people maybe saw my post on Facebook. had a van parked in front of my house. Something didn't seem right. I walked up to them and asked them if they needed help. They said no. I called in anyway. The result was 2 people being arrested. The van turned out to be stolen out of San Mateo County. There was a Google bike that they found. That's what really kind of tipped me off. Things weren't quite right. Watched the 2 sheriff's deputies. They were very efficient, very professional, and their dog is scary as hell. They have remotes on the doors. It just pops that thing open and out comes the dog. It's pretty cool. But just a reminder, call in all suspicious activity. If you've got a license plate number, if it's a vehicle, that helps them out to kind of prioritize what it is. If nothing else, get it on the books. Don't just let it pass, but look suspicious, call all that stuff in. I know fireworks are going to be an issue this year again, so we really need to possibly looking at passing some little bit stronger measures on what to do with violators of that. And that's about all I had in Neighborhood Watch. If I can just indulge for half a second, I forgot to mention during the items not on the agenda, there is a car show this weekend on Saturday, the Los Padrinos car show this weekend. It's going to be a lot of really nice cars, always been really nice cars. In our Camaro Club, I think we have 18 Gen 5 and Gen 6 Camaros coming into town.
And that's why we're hearing about it in this.
That's why
they're suspicious characters.
Suspicious characters, yeah. Absolutely. But they all decided to come out. They do a lot of good causes in the area, and we were able to float them out and get quite a few of our guys to come down and support that.
Cool.
Any questions? Yeah.
Kind of indicates the intelligence of criminals that park in front of the Neighborhood Watch.
Even when I walked out and talked, I walked over and spoke to him for 30 or 45 seconds, and apparently I believe his comment to me when I said, I'm just watching out, his comment to me was, you got to watch out for people in this town. And I went, okay.
Thank you, Eric.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move to public hearings. The first one is consider adopting an ordinance adding section 5-28, requiring licensing of tobacco retailers, second reading and adoption.
We tabled that. I don't think we had the first reading. No, we tabled it the last meeting, I believe.
Because we were going to check into...
Yeah, it was tabled.
No?
Vote was taken and it was 4-1.
Okay. Since the last meeting, the state has changed the laws regarding this, and I've been in communication with the health department, and they've suggested that we table it at this point because it is not. This may not be necessary because there's some question about whether. Whether it applies at all. So, is that okay? Can we table it, or do we just vote it down?
You can table it. It'll have to come back for a first and second reading again. So, probably tabling wouldn't be the right motion, just to deny it on second reading and bring it back at a future meeting. I haven't heard anything about changes in the law, except for the changes that we incorporated into this ordinance prior to its adoption. So.
Yeah, the health department was unsure and felt that it made sense to. That's why they're not here. I communicated with them, and they suggested that we just sit on it until they are able to study it.
Okay. Do we deny by a vote?
Yes, I think you deny the second reading and then just ask that it be brought back in a different form at some future meeting.
Okay, so we need a motion.
I move that we deny it and bring it forward at some future point.
And you're seconding?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call, Trish?
Councilmember West?
Yes.
Councilmember Bach?
Yes.
Councilmember Lynn?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martirana?
Aye.
Mayor Edge?
Yes.
All members of the council being present and wishing to stay by the make your absence unanimous.
Thank you. Okay, the next item is Valley Vista Landscape and Lighting District. We do this every year. It's a routine thing to pass. We have a resolution.
We're pleased to state this is that This year's budget increased by a whopping $200. So basically, the engineering estimate, for all practical purposes, is static and stuff like that. I think the overall assessment increased approximately $5 more than it was last year. The budget amount was $21,574 versus last year was $374.
Okay, great. Any questions before we go to public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Did anybody want to speak on this item? Do we have any speaker cards?
No, I don't have
Wait for Mark's gonna.
Okay. If there's anybody that thinks they want to talk on any of the items coming up that are remaining on the agenda, would you please fill your speaker card out now, please?
Do we have a copy of the resolution?
a binder?
There's a binder on, we always have a binder available on the desk in City Hall that you can come in and check out. Yes, sir.
My name is Mark Moreno. I live at 10 Wani Street in the Valley Vista District. I was involved in the original setup of the original district. We always used to be able to look at the books online and see where the money was going, and it's been quite a few years that we haven't been able to. And I would like to reestablish that because it is our money for our district. And I would like to be able to, I mean, it's public information. We'd be able to see where the money goes.
Yeah. We're getting a new website. We have a new website, and so we're still in the process of loading the different components into it. So I don't know if that's on there yet, but isn't there another place where that information could be available if they wanted to come in and get a copy or something like that?
They always could come in and look at our file folder on it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
because originally we had it set up so me and another couple people would go online and watch it every quarter and see where the money was going and where it was spent.
Was that access to the website at that time?
Yeah.
I think we used to have everything on our website. That
Yeah,
thing was
we
just
did.
so
We had to vote
loaded.
this time.
I mean, it was nice. But
And then also another question, on that new development going in, are you guys going to tie that into our line landscaping district?
not into yours. It'll be a separate one, but similar.
Yeah, they're obligated to start a landscaping and lighting district. They will probably be in contact with you to see if they can merge it, but their obligation is to have a separate lighting district, and they asked me if they could merge it and then form one bigger one, and it would be 86 more lots that would spread the cost.
And that's the first phase, correct?
Yeah, that'd be the first phase.
No.
That's
the entire.
First phase is phase 1 and 2,
Yeah.
which is about 23 lots.
Yeah.
But once
it'll be
the
different
district
because
is
it'll
set,
include roads.
Then every phase would just be added on to it.
And then the one by parcel by below the cemetery, that's the closest one, that'd be added to, possibility?
They also have an obligation to do a landscaping and lighting district. That's one of their conditions.
Yeah, I know the people that are gonna,
Yeah.
supposedly gonna buy that piece.
Yeah.
And
So there can be 3 independent lighting districts,
Or you could tie them together.
you could tie them together.
Whose choice would that be?
And for them to merge with this, it would be all of those people would have to agree to it.
All of them, or a majority, or what would be the process?
Well, I think the majority of them.
Okay. Just, it's not, we wouldn't be voting on that. That would be the membership. Okay.
A written vote, and then it'd be counted by the city clerk. And I believe
Got it.
it's all of the people that
That makes sense.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good question.
That's great, thank you.
And I've advised the developer to get all of the data together, and then approach you and talk about it, and then you can make an intelligent decision.
Roger, on their lighting and landscape, didn't they include roads?
Yes.
So
That's separate. Lighting and landscaping
It's
is
going to be one.
a different district.
And then
They
roads?
also have to have a service maintenance district which covers storm drains, street sweeping.
Yeah, no, it's just the most strips
Right.
and lighting
I just-
for us.
Yeah,
was
it's just-
trying to give you a little information in case you guys get into that and all of a sudden
Right,
you
no,
gotta put a new road
that
in.
make it a homeowners association.
Right.
Those are two separate districts.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, and then, so we can come into the office and look at the back books also?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
A little out of order here, just for the city manager, just a quick question. Who would those developers or people be contacting with? And I'm a Valley Vista resident. How is that contact happen?
It's very similar to what I did about 3 years ago when I sent out letters. I sent out letters to everyone and invited them to a meeting.
Tell them who it is.
And then collectively you get
Shouldn't he be
together
recognized?
and then decide how you're going to do
He
it.
had a quick question.
Yeah, right, yeah. So everybody will be contacted.
Take more time to go through the procedure.
Yeah, I don't want him to get up and have to go fill something.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Doug Brothers from 7 Awani Street. Been a resident there since the beginning. I think I was the third or fourth house to move in. Every year, regarding the landscaping, every year I'm the one that goes out in March or April when the water turns back on, and I'm the one that fixes every sprinkler, along with a few of us. Ken, myself, we pull our boxes out and replace the heads. We fix the dirt all around it because they're stuck, because they're super hard dirt out there. And I just feel that, one, our lawns would be 100% dead right now if it wasn't for me just going out there and turning the water on manually a couple times a week. And then at the same time, our center ones don't even turn on for the trees. And Mark and I, and Mark's been kind enough to know that, the system a little bit, and we go turn it on once in a while. And to be honest with you, we don't even know what our water rights are at the moment as a resident. We don't know if we're going off of California saying it's okay to turn on water right now, or if we're sticking to watering 2 days a week. So, I think the city should say something to the residents as soon as possible.
It didn't change.
We have been interfacing with the landscape contractor to make sure that they adhere to the watering schedule.
Right.
And, but they haven't been talking to you guys?
No. And then on top of that, it's they don't turn on. The other day we noticed that we turned the water on, but the sprinkler still didn't turn on. So there wasn't any pressure for the longest time. And then when we did finally get it to turn on, it turned on very slow for the first few days and time, and then it built up a little bit and built up. So it sounded like a pipe broke or something a few weeks back or a month ago or something like that, and you turned our water off. And then, for the day, and then it came back on, and we're not sure what it was, but the landscaping's turning on very slowly right now. It's working, I think, about 3 or 4 minutes a night.
Yeah.
It's very little, and it's just barely enough to keep the grass alive, so that's all.
Well, let me get a hold of the contractor, because Joe has been interfacing with the foreman there, and advising him when he can water and when he can't.
Right.
Maybe we just have to have a meeting.
So what is the watering schedule?
Twice a week.
Still twice a week?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you guys want me to interact, for our neighborhood and our watering, or myself and Mark maybe together, whatever it takes with the landscaper or something, because, you need to have better communication, and like I said, our lawns would be 100% dead right now.
Yes.
If we just turn it on.
I'll make sure when I get a hold of them to get a hold of you and Mark.
And I know the landscapers are happy because they haven't mowed, probably in 3 months or 4 months. So when it's dead, they don't have to mow, right? So they haven't paid attention to it at all. So now that it's turned on and there's a little grass, they actually have to come back and actually mow for once. So again, they're making money not having to do anything but blow the weeds once in a while, blow the leaves. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Question?
I just encourage you guys. I don't have lawn in my house. My wife takes care of all that stuff, and I'm not tuned in. We need to hear it. We can't fix it if we don't know it's broke. Roger's all over this stuff. We need the feedback. So please don't let it get to the point where you're frustrated and angry. Just come talk to us. All of our emails are on the website, the city website. Trish, Roger, we're all available. And please come talk to us.
I see those guys often.
Yeah.
No, you either.
I wouldn't admit to it.
That's what he just did.
Any other speaker cards on this one?
EO.
EO, thank you.
My name's Steve Eo. I live at 8 Owani Street, and I just have a couple of kind of concerns, just like everybody else here. It's more not so much about the grass, because brown is the new green, but mine is more about accountability and transparency. I was under the impression that our fund within your oversight has some type of reserve balance in it, and if that's the case, I was wondering why, according to your resolution, we're over budget. Actually, we're under budget as far as, how's that? Yeah, we're over budget, right? Under budget. We're under budget. So rather than lowering our rates or our assessment, the council is being presented to keep it the same and start a savings or start building up the reserves. But what reserves are there now? And if there are any, what's the cap on what we're going to keep in there?
And that's the $1 million question there. You have built up $55,065 worth of reserve.
We do?
Yes.
55,000?
Okay. Now the reserve has to be able to replace the system.
What
Okay?
system?
The irrigation, landscaping, trees, lawn.
Okay.
That
Lights.
would be the reserve clause of the assessment district, to say you have to build up that reserve, and so that if it fails and has to be replaced, you have the revenues there.
Right. I totally understand
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
And each
so
year,
is there something in writing that?
each year in the budget, we allocate $1,000 that goes into that reserve to build it up.
Okay, so what are we going to do now? Allocate more since we're under budget?
This year, I've programmed another $1,000 that go into the reserve.
So 2,000?
No, $1,000. So it will go and it'll cap at $55,065. That you'll have reserved in there.
Okay, so because the resolution reads different to me, I'm not.
You're thinking that the balance would go to that reserve and keeping it capped at the same?
The operational balance of $21,574, that's for the yearly operation. It pays for the water, it pays for the PG&E on the lights, it pays for the ground maintenance.
Right.
And then we have the reserve of $1,000.
Okay, and so if our water isn't turned on for 6 months out of the year, and if we go to the LED lighting system that I understand that the city's going to, that should reduce that amount drastically, right? I mean,
It should, yes.
In
yes.
theory.
In theory, yeah. Right.
So.
And when we get the electric bills, and we'll monitor in it, and then it'll reflect that as a lower expenditures in there.
Okay. Yeah. So as long as we're able to see where the money's going, because I'm all for having a reserve. I'm all for paying what we need to pay. If it needs to be paid more, then we need to pay more. It is what it is. But if we need to pay less, then that'd be even better. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so if we're having leaky valves in the city, I want to make sure that leaky valve isn't being paid for by the Valley Verde Assessment District.
And I was not aware that I was in the assumption that the landscaping maintenance crews repaired those water valves on a regular basis. Evidently they don't.
Okay, no, just a minute.
Smith and Enright, yeah.
You have to take your turn, okay? We've got somebody here now. We don't talk out in the middle of somebody else's time.
If we do have an issue with a leaky valve or a bad light, we just come to the city and say, we have a...
We'll get a hold of Smith and Enright and then get one of the reps over here.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Because Smith and Enright really works for you, not us. We're
Right.
just the administrators.
Right, that's why we're here, is because it's our money.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
it stays there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments?
Ken Howell.
I'm Ken Hool. I live at 15 Awani. My next door neighbor happens to be the retention pond. And it's not, I was hoping it could be maintained a little bit better. Right now it's an overgrown pond filled with pond scum. And it's just like if
we're making some headway on it. I think I had crews in there over the last several months. Clean it today. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It was really a very poor setup, and I got a hold of Joe and the maintenance crews, and regularly they get in there and then start trimming it. We can't do it all at once, but it's gonna take time.
But part of the budget shouldn't part of the budget be having a professional tree service come in
Let me correct you. That is the city's forces. It has nothing to do with your lighting and landscaping.
It has that has nothing to do with
we
it.
don't even charge that. That's our city thing. You see. So you're getting all of that from your property tax.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lift station is
Yes.
on the city.
Yeah.
Different budget.
Even the lift station is operated by the city.
Correct.
All right.
No, but I appreciate your concern because I came to the same conclusion about 6 months ago, and I laid the law down to the boys. I want that cleaned up, and so that we can see the water in there.
Every day,
and get rid of those
every
tulips.
day. I'm sorry, Roger. Every day, more trees are falling into
Yes.
the pond. Trees are breaking the fence. It just, it's almost, it's more than what your crew can do.
No, it's, and hopefully tonight we'll get a acquisition of a boom lift truck where we can get in there and then start whacking some of those trees down to the normal height.
All right, thank you.
Good.
Any other speakers, guys?
No, I don't have any other speaker cards.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
he already had his three, though.
It's kind of hand in hand with our district. The dirt trucks that are dumping all those loads of dirt on that property next or behind us, they're tearing up the roads. I hope there's some mechanism in place that is going to be able to fix that. And
There is.
We advise them that they have to repair that road as soon as they get through with hauling the dirt.
Right, it's getting bad.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to action items now. I'd like to see us move the last item up to the first.
On this
If-
public hearing item, there were 2 resolutions for approval.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they're not going to hear it.
Not getting out that quick.
Too busy taking.
Not getting out of here that early.
Taking votes. Okay, so on the first one, we have approved resolution 2016
I move,
30?
yeah, I move we make a resolution number 16, what number would it be?
30.
30.
30. Resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista confirming a diagram and assessment in conjunction with the Valley Vista Landscape and Lighting Maintenance Assessment District number 1 for the fiscal year 2016/17.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember West?
Yes.
Councilmember Bach?
Yes.
Councilmember Lund?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martirana?
Aye.
Mayor Edge?
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes unanimously.
And the next one.
I have a question. It refers to Exhibit A, but there's no Exhibit A in here. In the future, I want to see it, but no, it's all right. That's all.
Okay.
All right. Resolution number 16, 2016 what?
31.
31. That comes after 30, right?
That does.
Remember that about 50 years ago?
No, I don't. I move to make a resolution number 2016-31, resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista certifying compliance with state law with respect to the levying of general and special taxes, assessments, and property-related fees and charges.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember West?
Yes.
Councilmember Bach?
Yes.
Councilmember Lund?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Matrona?
Aye.
Mayor Edge?
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay, very good. Now, item number H, I'd like to see it moved up ahead of item A, 6H, 6A. Could I have a motion, if you agree?
So, second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
To move it, we need to vote for this? We can just do it.
We don't need a vote?
No.
Okay, very good. It's been done. All right, so that brings us to another resolution to accept the recology report for the annual rate adjustment. And I believe we have people who would like to talk to us on this.
Good evening, council staff. My name is Mike Hodges. I'm the new Integrated Waste Regional Agency Manager. And with me tonight, I also have the Director, Managing Super Boss of Recology. And he's going to help us. Essentially, according to the terms and conditions of the contract, once a year we need to make a report and have you accept it on any rate changes that are going to occur during the next year. And we are pleased to say that this year the rates are actually going to decrease 0.68%.
0.68?
0.68%.
Percent.
And that'll be spread out roughly through all the different rates that, depending on the service that you have. And so that's short and sweet. If you have any other questions that you'd like to hear.
No questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. Anybody have, do we have any speaker cards first of all on this?
No.
No, okay. All right.
Yes.
Eric, this is 6H. 6A. What?
Look at the one underneath it.
Oh, thank you.
Just a couple quick footnotes and on the Recology contract. I know this is has to do with the rates, but this also has to do with the contract. My understanding is that the contract with Recology states something to the effect of all residents must have garbage service. And my understanding is, I can tell you right now, not everybody has garbage service. So my question is, if that's in the contract, who enforces it? Is that Recology or is that the city?
I would think that Recology couldn't pass something that binds on the residents of Hollister or San Juan. It would have to be done by the governmental entity, I would think. But actually, that's kind of a side point for what we're doing here.
Okay.
Maybe we could look into that.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not agendized.
I think it's in the city code. Typically, you'd find that in the city code.
It's in the
So
city code.
it'd be something that the city would enforce through code enforcement.
It is in the city code?
Yes.
I thought we talked about putting it in there, but I didn't think it was in there.
No, it's in there.
We did it last year.
The refuge
Yeah.
required.
If it's brought to our attention, code enforcement
It used to be
addresses
in
it
water
in
and
a
sewer.
letter.
Yeah.
But then when they separated it out and went with Recology, we didn't have a mechanism to ensure that people were getting trash service.
There are people that live in apartments downtown that don't get trash service.
Right.
Yeah.
I told Recology, I gave them the addresses right downtown on 4 apartments. And I don't know if anything happened.
Yeah, but actually that's not on our agenda for tonight. So.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a resolution to accept the report.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember West?
Yes.
Councilmember Bach?
Yes.
Councilmember Lund?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Matrona?
Aye.
Mayor Edge?
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes unanimously.
And then
Okay.
we'll do resolution 2016-32.
32.
32, okay. Thank you very much. That was good news. Do it again next year. Okay, 6A, fiscal year budget.
Did we do the resolution? You did that, okay. All done. Pay attention.
So, if I can go first, or?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I mean, are you going to state a conclusion or ask questions?
Just kind of concludes.
Okay, because we first need to do public comment. Did anybody want to hear anything from Roger, or are we all satisfied with?
Well, I think what I'd just like to reiterate is that in the law enforcement budget, I put in the $81,100.
Department 30.
And then I offset that in your budget summary, and you'll see it there. Inter-fund repayment plan, and that was the first option that we did back in March of last year.
Department 30.
Identified that, and that's a 2% return on the $1,894,000, and it comes out to $86,000 per year for the next 29 years. And we'll repay from the enterprise fund back to the general fund. And I think it's a step in the right direction, because the auditors each year ask us, when is the council going to address that imbalance and stuff like that. How that arrived at is that the excess in the reserve, in the revenues of both the water and the sewer amounted to $87,000. So in this year, you qualified to make that payment and move forward. Now, over and above that there's $98,500 worth of asset reserve funds that you put into the budget. This is the second year, and so you've built up about $175,000. If you go forward by the year 2000, you'll have close to $500,000 in that fund, where you can address the acquisition of a fire engine, replacement of the roof, and major things. And that we've identified those 8 different categories that you can borrow amongst those to aggregate and get it solved, and then the funds, as it replenishes back, will replace that income. It's a good plan, and if you stay with it, you'll always have a reserve fund to address these major expenditures, and then where it won't crop up at you and say, oh, well, we need $300,000 to address something.
Tax. Should I say that out loud?
Okay.
Where did you say you put the repayment to the general fund?
I'll show you.
It's down in the summary.
It's up at the
In
front.
the summary.
It's at the very front.
Oh, okay.
In the summary.
He showed it to me earlier.
It's down at the very bottom.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions of Roger?
So I think, and incidentally, we did get an email from today from the state controller. They're going to come down in July, and they're going to be auditing us in our gas tax funds and appropriations and how we spend money on the streets and everything like that, as well as our annual auditor will be coming in after the fiscal year to perform our internal books.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Do we have any questions?
No question.
Oh, okay. Any speaker cards?
Yes, Eric Ritzoff.
I know at the budget meeting last week, I had asked the question about how much additional funds were going to be allocated toward security, and
that was it.
That was it.
He plugged it in, and it's there.
What was the dollar amount? I missed it.
$81,000.
Okay.
Yeah, enough to cover the 8 hours a day, essentially, an 8-hour shift, 7 days a week.
Outstanding. That is outstanding.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, hallelujah. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other
And we
comments?
won't park any white vans in front of your
No, that's it? Okay. All right, we'll close public comment. Robert, you want to start it off?
Yeah, I actually got to spend the afternoon going over this, and I think it's probably the best one we've had since I've been here. And I thought it was an amazing job. How we were able to increase security, budget funding, get things going. Everything is up. I commend Roger on a great job in
Well, it's the
massaging
discipline
it.
it's the discipline that the council has given the staff the direction that.
Right back at you, huh?
Thank you, Roger, but that's.
We're gonna miss the
it's not
surprises.
deserved.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a very disciplined bunch.
Yeah.
But,
The praise is not
I don't know about
deserved.
that one.
Are the termites coming this way or that way?
No more
Any other-
surprises.
No,
Any
I'm-
other comments?
I'm thrilled to pieces,
I'm
particularly with
very
that final change.
No, this is great.
Yeah.
Roger, you've done a great job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we beat the state of California again.
We just need another
That's not
14
setting the
million
bar
for the
very high.
mission, that's all.
Most guys get a bunch of money.
Okay, we have a resolution.
So, move we pass a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista adopting the San Juan Bautista municipal budget for fiscal year 2016-2017.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call?
Councilmember West?
Yes.
Councilmember Box?
Yes.
Councilmember Lund?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Marciano?
Aye.
Mayor Ed?
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes unanimously. Number 33.
33. That's good. Okay, now we go to the next item, which is a resolution accepting a grant of easement and authorized recording of it. It's already signed and notarized. This is regarding
The
the,
mayor and members of the council are pleased that both Susan and Keith have signed the easement. It's granting basically a 10-foot wide easement. That's where the storm drain will be there. The only reason for the easement is that the installation will be underground, and sooner or later somebody's going to have to go in there and repair it or clean it. So this covers that ability. So by and large, the owners will have free and unfettered access to it, but they can't build any structures with it.
okay.
Great.
And this culminates a lot of hard work between Caltrans, property owners, and now Joe and I will be out there tomorrow to stake it, get grade line, and away we go.
Great.
Caltrans hard work, in one sentence.
Yeah.
Now.
Any speaker cards on this?
No.
None? Okay.
Make a motion.
Yeah.
Consider resolution 2016-34. Accepting grant and easement and authorized recording of document.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Oh,
Councilmember West?
Yes.
can't break that
Councilmember
habit.
Box? Councilmember Lund?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Marciano?
Aye.
Mayor Ed?
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Made the motion.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the water discount for seniors. Trish, you worked on this, right?
Yes.
Did you want to make the presentation?
Or was that Roger's staff report?
Council proposed, asked staff to look into extending the discount to residents 62 years and older that are heads of household and are already using the PG&E care program for water specifically. I checked with PG&E to see how many residents in San Juan are on the care program. They said 260 households are on the care program. Not all of those people are 62 years. We kind of manipulated the numbers, Roger and I together. And so there's 260 households. Roger figured that 12% water reduction for a two-member household would be $7.50 a month, which amounts to $1,950. $23,400 a year anyway. But we reduced it by 33% as not all of those households have people 62 years, and came up with $16,373 hit to the general fund.
How many households do we have in town?
680?
684 connections.
680
yeah.
and 260 are on the care program.
Yeah.
Is that a high percentage for cities?
It appeared to me high, you know.
Yeah.
But not all of those 260 care program are 62 or older, so that's why I basically just took a rough number of 2/3 of it.
I was just surprised that the number was so high.
Yeah.
I don't,
There's like a lot of different ways that you can qualify. There's age, income, and disability. There's also somebody disability inside the resident. There's a lot of factors.
I thought income though was always
Income, but
present.
it could also, if there's 6 people living there, they divide that income per person.
Yeah. You know, my concern, I thought this was a great idea when we first started this, but we're sitting there, we've got the pellet plant, we've got the wells. I'd really feel much comfortable, we put this off until we've got those projects done, and then to maybe take a look at it again, because it's a lot more houses than I thought.
Yeah, but it's only 16,000 a year.
Well, that's just my feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, but, you know, we're not squeaking. You know, we have money, so.
We're showing a little compassion for the people that are 62 and over in this community, and I think it's a great gesture to them. I don't think it's going to come out to that number. That worst case scenario is going to come out to $24,000 a year, but I pretty much will predict it's probably going to be half.
Yeah.
You have this number plugged in the number.
Between the revenues in the general fund and the expenditures, there's a surplus of $26,321.
I'm curious because we've been talking about this for months. I've not had a single person say a word to me about this.
None.
Has anybody gotten any feedback from any constituents?
They may
any
not
residents?
be following this.
I
They won't know
understand. It's late
until
in the meeting.
the announcement goes out,
I've
you
had
know.
several customers come in and ask about it.
You have?
They come,
Okay.
yeah, right.
Good. Okay. I'm just curious because it's been
primarily had
nothing.
elderly women that came in and they were asking.
Okay.
And I told them that we were working on it and
Yeah.
we were going to develop a plan that would address it.
I mean, if we had to, we could probably go back to the census to find out.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a lot of poor people in town. I was just
I do
surprised at
too.
the number, but I do know of a lot of poor people.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
In a $1.5 million general budget, 16 is not that monumental, but it's a step to where you're showing compassion, and then if it gets out of control, then you can always rescind it.
Mhm.
We give us, we can take us away.
They have to show the copy of their driver's license to prove age and be on the CARE program, and so that's how we verify it.
Right.
So.
We're not going to do it on the honor system.
We're not? I don't get it then?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if I put 3, 4 people in, I can divide that, you know? Or divide my income, or whatever the hell you divide.
Now, this, are you gonna send this out with every water bill?
Almost have to.
Yeah, we're going to have to announce it and send out to everybody, and then they could come in and then make application.
Do we have, can we get addresses of just the CARE?
No.
Probably not.
That's probably personal information, it's probably not a public
Not
information.
specifically those persons. I could ask.
It was an attempt.
I was kind of wondering, should we limit to single-family homes? What about apartments?
Well,
No, I think
we
it's
should-
households, not, I mean, you
Yeah.
can't penalize them because they live in an apartment.
Yeah.
Not everybody
They're living in
can
an
afford to
apartment for
rent
a reason.
house.
Where we get into problems is that there's one master meter on the apartment. The apartment has to be individually metered for the unit. You know,
Well-
there's some that are that way, and then there's some that are master metered. And then the apartment manager distributes the cost into the rental.
Yeah.
So with a master meter situation, nobody qualifies for the CARE program because
Correct.
we've got too many factors.
They would, it's just that that manager would probably deduct the $12 off of their bill as we deduct the $12 off of the master meter.
Yeah, but you'd have to have.
Yeah,
Right.
nobody
Right. I
on the
mean,
master
nothing
meter
changes
is going
about
to be
having
signed
to-
up on the CARE program, though. They're not going to be able to go through the application. I mean, it's just not, they're not going to collect all the income data for all the people.
Everybody would have to
If you have a
qualify.
master meter, they're not gonna see this.
Yeah.
It's like me with my duplex, I have a master meter.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. I don't qualify, and I know but neither one of my tenants qualifies, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be.
Which goes back to that 24,000 is probably not gonna be
Yeah,
a strong number.
It's,
Well, I like the idea of doing it. I don't like the idea of the first time we saw black ink, we gave it away. That's my problem.
Sure.
You know, and I remember one of the wise council members said, "Don't spend all this money." I think that was you.
He doesn't remember what he said.
No.
Neither do I.
That was it.
Do we have any speaker cards, Trish?
No.
No. Okay. What do you guys want to do?
I want to pass it. I'll make a motion to, which was that, C? Water and sewer, yeah. Consider resolution 2016-30.
I thought the last one was 3.
No, the last one was 34. We got 35 coming.
Yeah, it's 35.
is,
The easement was 34.
we don't have a resolution here.
For this
Yeah,
one?
it's on the back of the last page.
Got it, sorry.
Okay, I'll reread. Consider resolution 2016-35, establishing a water and sewer payment plan for limited income individuals.
Wait. That's not what
By
my
title.
resolution says.
I'm just going off the action, or off of the, for the by title only.
You gotta read.
Let me have yours. 'Cause
And
mine
when
got
do you
one.
want to start?
Those two are. It's not quite there. Okay. A resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista authorizing an execution of a limited income senior citizen 12% discount program for city water services commencing.
When could we implement it, Roger?
You want to start the physical?
August 1st?
July 1.
Oh, July 1? Okay.
July 1, 2016.
Okay. Is there a second?
No.
Oh, man.
No.
So we're not going to pass it.
Yeah.
I could second it, but it sounds like I wouldn't get any votes.
Yeah, I'm of two minds. I'd like to hear from a couple of people in the public. I mean, it just seems like so little dollars to make an impact, and like I said, I haven't heard a single person come back.
It's either sewer rate is fixed.
And holding off, I agree with Jim.
Do you want to table it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's table it one more month.
Yeah, I don't
We'll
think
get
we
some
should
people
kill it.
together on it.
I don't
But
think
I
we
don't
should
want it to go away.
Yeah,
Guys,
no,
go on
I'm
with
with
the
that.
second.
I agree.
Could we bring it back next month, Roger, Trish? Okay.
Continuance, just for the record.
Table it to the next meeting?
Continuing. Right?
Continue it.
Here's your page.
Just referring to the wisdom of senior council members. Don't spend all the money the minute you get.
Okay. It's burning a hole in our pockets, Jim. All right, we move to D, revising the city's water conservation contingency plan. Roger?
Okay, as you're well aware, the governor has rolled back the 25% to 15%. And he's given us the direction to change our watering schedule and stuff like that. We felt that it's better if we make a drastic change. It'll get people confused. We've got them in the process of thinking about water conservation and conserving. So we kind of mirrored what we did previously. It's 2 days a week, but now we only have to meet the 15% without risking penalties. Last year we met the 25. Some months we had 30%, sometimes 21, but in the average it was 25%.
Okay, any questions?
I really think we ought to stick with what we had. We've got 2 operating wells at this point. Everybody starts watering their lawns again. like these fellows were talking about. My lawns are dead.
Your lawns are beautiful.
You don't have a lawn. You don't have a lawn out
Oh, it's a
front.
duplexes? Oh.
That's yours?
Well, everything's dead there.
My duplex is dead, it's gone. In fact, we're putting a couple of trees on
Why don't you guys put that fake grass in there?
Water,
That's expensive.
really
Oh, I know, I looked at it, it's like,
people
I think it was 10 square feet, it was $149.
It's very expensive. As far as the use of water, it's,
There's a shelf life on it too.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, 8 to 10 years.
The conservation program.
Yeah,
Yeah,
deterioration.
because we could go for 3 days a week,
Yeah,
but
that's why
why?
they don't do it at the
It's like
parks,
telling
because
people
they
water's
say that
cheaper.
it'll
We
end
don't
up in
want
the
them to
dump.
start thinking that way.
I mean, at least they told me to get another well online. We have to really be.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have any speaker cards. Do we have any speaker cards on this?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll close public comment then.
Number 5?
So, number 5, what?
I had a question about that. So it's okay for me to water on Saturday at 2 PM if I have a quick shut-off nozzle?
That's
No.
for,
That's what it says.
I thought that was for washing, car washing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
that's what it says.
I believe
and
that's that.
That's why I'm questioning
It
it.
says hand watering.
So as long as I'm using a quick shut-off, I can
Yeah.
water anytime I
Yeah,
want.
I'm watering my roses.
car
I
washing
don't
is
care what
number
you say.
11.
Pardon me?
Car washing is number 11
Yeah, I'm not,
specifically.
yeah,
And that's the same with car washing, is you need a
yeah.
quick shut of
So I'm restricted to the hours before 9 and
My age,
after
there's no such thing
5
as a quick shot.
on Mondays and Thursdays if I'm using an open irrigation. Got it.
Is this the same as it was before, Roger? The only difference is the 15% instead of 20?
Yeah.
20 or 25? 20.
25.
25?
and
Now it's to 15.
But everything else is the same.
Okay, so we have an issue raised of changing it back to 25 and leaving it there. Let's address that.
I'd like to see
I think the way our drought is right now, or I mean our hot weather, that we need to reserve all the water we can right now. Is this something we can do down the road?
You mean change it to,
Well, we were successful at 25, weren't we?
Yes.
yeah, we made it.
Let's leave it.
Well, Donald Trump says everything's drop.
Who?
Pardon?
Who's that?
Donald Trump said, I figure,
I hope so.
No, he's going to be
I
your
hope so.
next president.
Vote Trump.
but he can fix that. Don't worry, he'll fix it.
But I really think
fixes
that we
debt.
should stay with the 25. Hey, everybody's used to it. How many violations have we had in the last year?
Uh-oh.
So the resolution then would be, is to change number 3, city water customers are required to reduce water consumptions by 25% compared to their water usage of 215.
Well, that's already in place today, is it not? So we can just,
Pass this, right.
if we don't pass this, then
Everything
we,
stays the same.
So we're gonna go
Does
to
the other one
is there anything
expire,
else in here?
or
that
is
we-
I
it,
believe so.
no?
No,
So we can just leave it in place,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Are you aware of any violations?
there was a few people that were watering in off days, and we went over and advised them. You know, when it first started, there was a number of people that didn't know the schedule.
Sure.
And then after a while, they got down.
Mr. Mayor, I think you have a question in the audience there.
Yeah, if I can, just real quick, and this goes back to Chris's point. In number 4 says landscape watering is restricted to 2 days per week, Mondays and Thursdays. And then number 5 says landscape watering
Saturdays.
between 9 and 5. I think what
So
Chris-
my example was wrong. You wouldn't be able to water on Saturday under any conditions,
Right.
but I could water at noon on
Mondays and Thursdays.
Mondays and Thursdays, as long as I was using the fast-acting shut-off nozzle.
That's what I wanted to
Why can't you pick your own 2 days? I'm not much for
So we don't trust you, Jim.
We don't trust.
I got a wall, you can't even see what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Okay,
So we're
so,
going to just eliminate this? And
yeah,
leave it like
sounds
it is,
like-
what's on the books?
okay.
The Water Resource Association is still putting out a flyer that will
Yeah.
be in everybody's water bill that they receive in July.
But their days are different than ours, are they not?
They specify, this is specific to San Juan.
Okay, good.
That's what you see here.
Okay, I'd be really super cautious because they printed it in the paper wrong after it was reviewed by 3 different people. Yeah, or they almost printed it. It got caught, but it had like 5 people proof it, and it still was wrong.
Okay, the next item, Roger, you want to make the report?
Yes, we're getting ready to start doing some sludge removal, and I have a pontoon, heavy pontoon, great big one, it's probably half as big as this room, pumps, and I'm going to have to need at least a 40-ton crane to lift the thing and get it over the bank, set it in the water. And I've called around, and these were kind of the rough costs and stuff like that. And then once we get that thing out there, we'll moor it with ropes, and then we can set a large, about 5 to 6 inch diameter sludge pump. Now this sludge pump can only pump a slurry, and so the sludge has to be watered down and pumped, and then it'll be piped over to a tank. And I'm still working with Chris and the Public Works is how we can de-water it so that we don't have to haul a bunch of fluid around to discharge it.
To dry the sludge.
And then it'll be just heavy sludge.
We got a machine, but it's a long way to it. It'll be water like crazy.
Does a cemetery need fertilizer? Or?
Oh, God.
Where do you put the sludge?
Right now, we were going to take the heavy sludge and discharge it into the city of Hollister or city of Gilroy or Seaside. There's 3 places where you can discharge sludge.
So it'd be trucked?
Truck, yeah.
Would it go like by a septic hauler or?
Septic hauler, yeah.
Okay.
We have one truck that's a 3,500 gallon tank. We'd like to get one that's got about a 4,500 gallon tank.
Okay, and you need
So I
approval.
just need authorization to
6,300.
spend maybe a rough estimate about 6,300.
Do we do that by consensus, or do we need a vote?
What do you think?
I would do a vote.
Vote?
Do a vote? Okay. Need a motion and a second.
I move that we approve the request to rent equipment for sludge removal for a total cost of $6,300.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, roll call?
Councilmember West?
Yes.
Councilmember Ball?
Yes.
Councilmember Lund?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martirana?
Aye.
Mayor Edge?
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
And
Okay.
in the budget, we have allocated in the sewer department $75,000 for the sludge removal process. This is just one phase of it to get it going.
Right.
Okay. All right. Next item. 2 resolutions, one for purchase of a used paint truck and the other for purchase of a used aerial lift truck.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring these there because I waited till we're in the last month of the fiscal year to where we knew kind of where we were at. The paint truck is an older model, and it has, this is not like any normal paint truck. This is minus a compressor. It's all hydraulic, run by the motor, and then the paint, you fill the thing in, and it's all airless hydraulic paint that when it comes out and stuff like that. But you don't have to mix it, make it fluid, and it comes in this and everything. And this particular truck came from the city of Sunnyvale, and it has a light bar, a directional light bar where you can run it to where you park it. You can tell the cars to go either side of you and stuff like that. It was a very attractive deal coming from Sunnyvale. Still useful and everything. It's, we're not going to use it like Sunnyvale does it every day and everything. We activated it and we've been using it. It's proved very worthy for our cost.
Good. Any other questions?
Is it, does it save labor, save time? What's it do for you?
It saves us a tremendous amount of time. We had a little air compressor where we had to mix it and we'd have to go out there and it would run off electricity, so we'd have to, we were in the downtown, slave somebody's electricity and spray the thing, and this thing here is all self-contained. We used it to paint the new European crosswalks in the downtown area right before the rib cook-off. And I wanted to get that there, so, and it's been proved worthy because the cars now are slowing down at the intersection and stuff, so.
Okay.
You know, and we'll be probably doing most of our intersections in that style. It'll give it a little bit more presence.
We use it that often? I mean, it's...
I'm going to try to push him, particularly between now and September, right before school starts, to get everything painted before school starts. And that's generally when we can start doing it. But August and the month of August is when we really accelerate.
Okay. Does it?
And anything around the school, then we got to paint yellow. It's standard.
And like striping, center striping, it doesn't do that necessarily.
No,
that's still
we can contract that out, or this machine that we have, it has the thing to where it can go down. It's a smaller hand-driven machine where we can do the center lines.
Yeah. They don't do that on Franklin.
Okay, any speaker cards? No. Okay, close public hearing.
I did the last one, but that's okay. We're good.
Okay.
What about
so
the
we
aerial?
have two resolutions here.
What about
One for
the aerial truck? Is that, do we have any question or comment?
And the aerial truck is one, I think we've been using it in a loan situation. We've fixed our telephone pole and everything like that. And the boys cut down a tree at the corner of 3rd and McCollum Street. And so it's been very fantastic. I was always encouraged to, because the number of our trees in here is atrocious, and we're going to have to start topping some of them because some of them are dangerous. And then it's just like the other gentleman here, the trees in that pond by the Awani thing hadn't been touched since the subdivision was created in 2009. It was just overgrown, and we've got to get in there and do something. And the guys can't get way in above the water because they can't wade out into that pond to get all the stuff, and so the high lift can get them over there so they can start trimming those trees on the inside.
I got an inner tube and a pole saw.
Yeah, right.
There's water in that pond?
Yeah.
Where's it coming from?
Drainage, lawn drainage and stuff that goes in, you know. And then over the years, it's sealed and it's never been pumped dry to where you can encourage it to percolate itself. There's been a lot of maintenance and a lot of tulies have clogged up the side and stuff.
Yeah.
It's been poorly maintained for the last 9 years, and it's come back to haunt them. And I think they were absolutely right. It breeds mosquitoes, and then the water gets a green layer of algae, and then it starts to smell.
Okay. We have two resolutions. We'll have to take them up separately.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista authorizing the purchase of a 1999 GMC pickup truck in the amount of $7,410.
Second. Been moved and seconded, roll call.
Councilmember West?
Yes.
Councilmember Bach?
Yes.
Councilmember Lund?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martirona?
Aye.
Mayor Edge?
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes unanimously. That's number 35.
Okay, so, all right, I'll make a motion, number 2016-36, a resolution with the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista authorizing the purchase of a 1983 International Aerial Lift Truck.
Second. Been moved and seconded.
Pardon?
Want to throw the price in there?
No, it's not in the resolution.
Yeah, $13,000.
Not to exceed
Wait, if I got to read down there. Yeah.
13,517.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember West?
Yes.
Councilmember Bach?
Yes.
Councilmember Lund?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martirona?
Aye.
Mayor Edge?
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay, next item is consider creation of an ad hoc committee to collaborate with the State Historic Park.
I think that's me.
Is that you? Okay.
That's me. Tony and I and Roger have met with Daniel Dodge from Assemblymember Alejo's office a couple of times. We passed, I guess it was a letter, we passed on a letter from the council to the Assemblymember's office asking for their help in working with the state park to make the orchard garden area more accessible, essentially. And they have been making some progress and have asked us to participate, to begin to engage directly with the park, with them, or with the state park system, I should say. And it seemed to make sense to us to create an ad hoc group, a subgroup of the council to act on the council's behalf in having these meetings.
And I think what Dan Dodge was saying is the collaboration is they're looking for what does the city want to do with it, and what are they stepping up to the plate to help them to maintain that thing. And I think that's where we want to put our foot forward to say we're going to be good stewards of the land, but we want to participate and have it more accessible, and we're willing to devote some of our maintenance guys to keep it up.
So our suggestion is that Tony, myself, and Roger be comprise the ad hoc committee to then continue to meet with Assemblymember Alejo's office staff, as well as the state park system, to try and move this whole question forward. And so they've asked us to participate in a conference call actually later this week to further that conversation. And thus the sort of the urgency to get this, to get some authorization to move forward. That's what I would ask.
Good idea.
Any other questions? Any speaker cards?
No.
No, okay.
We need a motion for that?
Yeah.
I would make that motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay,
Well, we're not
roll
in
call.
committee.
Councilmember West?
Yes.
Councilmember Bach?
Yes.
Councilmember Lund?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martirona?
Aye.
Mayor Edge?
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes unanimously. I'm sorry, the ad hoc committee consists of?
Myself, Tony Bach, and City Manager Grimsley. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
We did work to get that.
What's that?
I mean, I was just telling Chris, that's good to get them that far down the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's been encouraging.
The state parks is right there with
we're on
Caltrans.
discussion items.
Apparently they've had some good communication. I've spoken a couple of times and met with the woman who's in charge of the park currently. I guess her title's a little up in the air, but she's been very receptive and been terrific to work with, so I'm very encouraged.
Okay, that brings us to 7A, update on joint use agreement with Aroma San Juan Unified School District for San Juan school facilities. Who's going to do the update?
Thursday, but timing I don't know. I'll let you know.
As you recall, the discussion centered around how could we open up the basketball courts to facilitate the kids' after-school hours. And right now they're blocked off, and by us participating in it, we have to, I guess, post the insurance and liability during those periods when the kids were actively playing out there.
So has there been progress on this?
From what I gathered in talking with, is Teresa here?
No.
No, she couldn't.
Her,
Is this Joey Canetta?
Yeah.
I believe Teresa's mother passed away.
I can talk a little bit, I can do a public comment.
Great.
Certainly,
Hopefully
yes.
answer your questions. So should I go forward?
Certainly.
Okay. So I'm Joey Canepa. I've been here 12 years. I have 2 children in the district. And I'm also heavily involved in youth sports in the area. I run the San Juan Soccer Club. And I've coached swim at Ansar High. And really was very dismayed a couple of years ago to see the public fencing go up around San Juan School. It virtually cut off recreational opportunities for all of our low-income kids. We are 78% low-income school in the district. The low income is increasing in our overall district. Overall in the district. Currently, our basketball team boys from Ansar have to jump the fence to be able to find a court on the weekends during the summer, and in the best time to play in the evenings. And that's really dismaying to me. And so Teresa Lavignino, as head of the San Juan Aromas Tennis and Fitness Club, Tennis and Fitness, has galvanized local people to help open recreational facilities, to help make them better, and to help increase youth activities. And so I'm kind of speaking for her tonight, but also I just really want to praise her ability to network and to pull things together. So what Tennis and Fitness Group has done is improve the tennis courts in collaboration with the school district, done a $20,000 refurbishment of some interior soccer fields at San Juan School, with the ultimate goal of opening up the 2 fields, the large athletic field that's already there with no improvements except for school district maintenance, and then the interior field of the school, which used to be open. That's going to have soccer goals very soon, courtesy of San Juan Soccer Club, and we would like to open up the 2 fields on the weekends. That's a long-range goal. In the meantime, we would also like to have a fitness trail around one of the fields, and we would also like to improve that riparian corridor that is between the 2 fields. It's a drainage that only runs during wet season. We've been approached by a number of people about grants to help make these things happen, and we keep getting stuck with no joint use agreement in place. Our school district is very concerned about vandalism. Well, first of all, it was school security that put the fence up. Then it was vandalism. And then it is just plain not being able to maintain facilities with people moving in and out the way they used to. So we were really happy to see the joint use agreement being discussed. And I want to bring up another idea that was shown to have worked well in the San Francisco area. Much higher property tax rates. But there's a group called the Parks Alliance, and I'm going to pass these articles around. Sorry, I only have 2. And it's a consortium of groups that have raised a lot of money to be able to open up the school areas after hours. And I'm not sure if that means up until dusk or not. I know that would be an issue with our current district. But they cover any costs incurred with the by the public agencies and or parks that take over the public areas. They've opened up 28 schools in the Bay Area, taken the fencing. It's opened up by a pedestrian gate, which is what we've been proposing with this San Juan Aromas School District. So a pedestrian gate that would discourage bicycles coming in. and hopefully skateboards. And one of the things about their insurance policy is that it covers any vandalism that happens on school property or by users. And so that's one avenue that's kind of thinking outside the box and what we could possibly do as the San Juan Aromas Tennis and Fitness group to make this less onerous to everyone. I just want to say what it feels like to be looking at a closed school day in and day out. I live right next to the school in the Green Adobe, and it is devastating. It looks like a prison, it brings down property values, and it looks like a wasteland. I have allowed my son to jump that fence repeatedly because I just don't see any other thing that he can do with a group of kids that mean no harm. There are sometimes 20 kids on Sundays playing basketball there. I would love to see the girls out there too, but they are a little shy of jumping the fence. So.
The school district is the one that has denied access by putting the fence around? And they said that it's because it's vandal for the facilities?
Well, first of all, let me back up a little bit. So we got a new district superintendent 7 or 8 years ago. There was a big push for putting up security fences at that time to stop mass school shootings. But there was no community involvement at all in discussion of this fence. And so it wasn't known by anyone what the level of student use was.
So this was as a result of the Sandy Hook debacle back in the East Coast?
In large part. And then it morphed into more new employees in the school district and facing some vandalism. And every 4 or 5 years, there's some major vandalism. Somebody jammed the water fountains, which meant that the school had no water fountains for an entire year. And it cost several $1,000s to repair the water fountains. Every time that we've talked about opening something up, say interior, it's always asked what our insurance policy will cover. And we're a nonprofit group trying to make good for the community and trying to put recreational facilities in front of the community. If the city, and I don't know how this works, the complexity of it, if the city could put their force in behind opening facilities to our youth or providing areas that are insured with city insurance.
Could you put out your microphone?
Yeah, it's there. I don't understand the school district has insurance 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And so why do they ask you to put insurance or us to put insurance? You know, and the kids are going to go play every night and they're...
Right, I think partly to cover the extra cost of vandalism, if anything should happen. I have no idea what their insurance covers off hours. If you're not a student... Security in the budget, maybe you could dedicate some to that. So people that are not students...
Roger your box, the silver ring goes in the little box.
Yeah, I know.
He's a genius at everything else, though.
He's an engineer.
So, can I
I got it now. But maybe Teresa, you could shed some light on that. And what I'm surprised is the tennis courts got the fence around it, but they could open it up, and they're not close to any buildings. Why are they concerned?
Well, with the tennis courts, originally, anytime our group had some kind of function, we still have to supply a liability insurance for any function that we do as a group. Anybody that walks out there just as a tennis player that wants to rally with another person, no problem. But as a group, we have to provide.
If it's a sanctioned event or a thing, yeah.
Right, or even just a play date. We have kids out doing camps right now, and we have to supply insurance up to $1 million to cover them playing out there. And so what I think we're trying to do is get to a point where the kids, the adults, our community can go onto these recreational facilities and not feel like we have to contact our insurance carriers just to go out and have a summer camp, or a tennis camp or whatever. And for the school to be completely locked off and the kids, adults, because I say kids, but it's all ages, can't play basketball. And what was it? I think it was in 2011, 2012, right at December or January, in that time is when those fences went up, and basically no one can go out there after school or on weekends, and especially now that we have school out, it's completely locked down. So where do people play basketball? And I know you're a basketball player.
I mean, everybody grew up where they would go down after school was out and play ball until it got dark, and then you go home.
Exactly. It's not happening here in Sackville.
No.
I can't believe it.
It's been that way at every school in the state for years. And like the article points out, some communities have addressed it. It's now up to us. I think there was a mention of the assault.
You can still go and play it.
Actually, the difference is that most schools have a designed fence that allows you to access the basketball courts, sometimes a play structure. I mean, that's sometimes not always found.
Yeah.
Or a track even.
Sure.
But again, our district is so small and so poor that I really understand the vandalism issue, and I also really understand their liability concern. I was told by the superintendent, who was the one who erected this fence, that there had been cases of kids skateboarding despite signs and despite fences on school property, and the district was still sued for negligence, with head injuries happening within the fences.
Sure.
So my question is, what insures your Verhootie Park, and whether that kind of insurance, because we've been told that we're basically inviting people in if we improve the open soccer field, if we improve it and create a more beautiful riparian area alongside the open soccer field, that's an improvement. And when it pulls people in, who covers anything that might happen?
I can't believe
It's
a
going
jurisdiction would take that attitude.
I think you're thinking about it. I don't think that was that much thought put into it. They fenced it off because they needed to fence it off, and that was some mandate somebody laid down. It wasn't well thought out. In my mind, the fundamental question is, do we as a community want to make that accessible? We've done a whole bunch of improvements at Verhootie Park. It's been wildly successful. There's been tremendous feedback. There's been a tremendous amount of discussion and feedback from the community that they want this to happen. And it's fundamentally this body and the school board need to decide that we want it to happen, and then we need to go figure out how to make it happen. And we're getting down the rabbit hole with questions about whose insurance is going to pay for what, and we need to fundamentally figure out whether we want it to happen, and then get a few people, not these two, but people from here and the city and the school board to sit down and hammer this thing out. And it's been dragging on for a year and a half, more than that. Well, I mean, so I've been getting calls about it for a year and a half.
And if the school board doesn't want to do it, it ain't going to happen.
And I don't think it's not that they don't want to do it. It's not that they don't want to do it.
Well,
there's just a lot of issues that come down. Well, and maybe we need to have a joint meeting, but we need city staff. We need this body. An ad hoc committee, that's fine too, but we need to engage at a higher level than we're engaging. We've got volunteers going out, and they've been banging their head against the wall for years.
Well, and
It's up to us.
Oh, sorry. Just recently, there's a summer camp being held through, I think, the city. I don't know. It's
yes, through the city.
And our group has to insure them because the city's not insured.
I'm sorry, but it's actually because we're having some activities on the school district property as opposed to at the library.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you conducted on our library, you're covered with our insurance. But you ask, can we provide insurance to go down to the school? And I says, the school should cover that,
And they
not
don't.
the city.
And so we're covering it.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like, we're like a recreation department, and we're just a nonprofit, and we're trying to keep things happening here in town, but it all falls, it's falling on us. And so what we're trying to do is say, could the city and the school district and maybe create another entity that does the recreation, the whatever here in the community. But for us to be covering insurances for different groups because no one can play on the soccer field or whatever it just doesn't.
We need to solve the problem at a higher level.
Yeah,
period.
you're absolutely right.
So who else wants to play here? Who's
We
gonna?
have to get a,
No eye
we have to get a
contact.
meeting with the superintendent.
Well, and we've had those meetings. We have the superintendent just left.
Yeah.
He quit.
He's here until the 30th.
Yeah.
There's one more board meeting.
Yeah. So who else? Should
I'll
we
go with
form
you
an
on that
ad
one.
hoc? Okay,
Yeah,
Robert and I are going to be. Are you guys comfortable with that? And us
comfortable.
engaging, well, obviously with Roger's help, engaging approaching the school board directly,
Yeah.
and probably going to their meeting and asking them directly for help on this. Is that?
Maybe you could start out at the staff level.
Well, I've met with Ruben, and I've met with I can't remember the gentleman's name, the maintenance guys. We've had meetings, we've talked about it. We just haven't gotten, we need to get all of the players in the same room at the same time, like I said, and decide that this is important, and then figure out how to do
Yeah,
it.
because if the school board doesn't want to do it by unanimous, or by a majority vote, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I've spoken to members of the school board. They love the idea. They don't have an issue with the idea. We've just got to work through the detail. Okay, so
I think that committee's a great idea.
okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Just for information, the way insurance works is the school district's insurance, like you say, is there all the time.
Yeah.
If somebody uses the property on a temporary basis and gets their own insurance, their insurance would be primary. And then the school district's policy wouldn't have to pay.
Yeah.
And so therefore their rates wouldn't go up because of the claim. So that's the way they're trying to,
Mitigate.
yeah.
Who covers when they have 10 or 12 soccer teams out there in that big soccer field? Who covers that?
They do.
The San Juan Soccer Club has player insurance, so the minute players register, their $10 of that goes to California Youth Soccer Association for insurance for accidents.
What about when the parade stage is on the school property? Who covers that?
So if two kids get
Parade
together, they
state.
want to play a little basketball one-on-one, they don't, the school
It doesn't
district
cost
insurance
anything?
will cover that.
'Cause it's
They're
a
on
rally?
the grounds, right?
I don't know. And I think there was a relevant case in City of Monterey where
water was
visitors somebody broke a leg on the riprap in the harbor of Monterey, and it was a huge, huge suit, even though the kids were unsupervised, but they were on the edge of Monterey Harbor. And this is, I think, why these cases come up, and so I always ask what the worst scenario is that anybody's seen. And the last superintendent, as I said, talked about a skateboard accident where the kid was paralyzed. Which, nobody wants skateboards on the steps of the school. That's, a valid concern for the school district. I didn't mention one further piece, and then I'll totally shut up. We are trying to improve that exterior soccer field to be a nexus for school groups that come, and I forget how many thousands of people come through that area, park their buses there. We want a walking path around that field, and we want to connect it up with the trail behind the mission. And that's what San Juan Wellness, Tennis, and Fitness is committed to doing, but of course we have to make sure that we can be on the field and we're not inviting problems, is how it was put to us.
Good. Thank you.
Shoot the lawyers.
Thank you.
Don't take it personally.
Just beyond my.
Yeah.
That's comprehension,
Yeah,
Well, the county recreation committee.
Exactly.
In San Bernardino worked with a lot of schools and they paid for the improvement. The schools maintain them and open it up.
Yeah. And I was with the school district, all of us got together, we put lights and we did things.
Yeah.
And our stipulation is, you gotta have it open so that everybody can play on it.
There's community money. I mean, that group has been very successful rounding up money, but it's, like I said, everybody's got to get together and decide what needs to happen. I think it's going to mean the fences need to be altered. That's been a discussion point a number of times, but it's, we need all of the parties to sit down and talk about it at one time and move it forward.
Okay.
Okay.
Comments, city council?
Nothing to add. You're
Nobody?
welcome, Jim.
Thank you.
Question. Heard anything about the recycled water yet?
Yeah, Simone, Katie Simone was in there today and I was talking with her, you know, and the regional board has approved the new requirements that we don't have to do all that monitoring, but we have to develop standards for installation of the stuff, and so she's going to be sending me all the stuff.
They said we do not have to do the monitoring wells.
Well, they nick that in the monitoring wells.
Fantastic.
But we have to have standards of the installation and separation and background check devices so that there's no interconnection between the reclaimed water and the potable water.
Now, that's what I did in September. We had two new lines, a white line and a purple line.
Yeah.
Dutch each other.
Two separate ones, yeah. And I got the map and I showed her.
Okay, no more comments? City manager comments?
None.
City attorney? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?